How's it going, everybody? So this is a Patreon request from my first Patreon, Irishspuds. He wanted me to do 28 Days Later, but I said I've already seen it, but I'll review it for you anyways. And he was like, nope, fuck that, you've already seen it. And I was like, well, I just bought Night of the Living Dead recently. I can check that out and review it for you. And we agreed on this. So, Night of the Living Dead, the pinnacle of zombie movies, the one that really got the zombie genre very popular. There were zombie movies before this in like the 30s and the 40s. They were even called zombies in those movies, but in this one, for some reason, they're called ghouls. I thought that was very odd. This is a black and white film. I don't know when color TV became a thing, but I'm pretty sure there was color TV at the time. So I wonder if it's a budget thing or a style choice when they made this movie, because I haven't done all my research on it because I just am not that interested in it. This was George Romero's first film. He was shooting commercials at the time. He got sick of it and wanted to make a movie, and they got some funding. They got their own budget, raised some money. They got like $100,000 or so, and shot this in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, home of the Steelers. And this has a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. And the Wishmaster that I reviewed recently, which was a fucking fun ass movie, has like a 26. Yeah, I get it. It's a classic, so you're just supposed to automatically love it. I don't play by those rules. If a movie entertains me or it actually has an effect on me, then I'll say it's good. I'm not going to sit here and lie and be like, well, it's a classic. It's 50 years old, so I have to love it. No, I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. But that doesn't matter, does it? Because even when a classic like this, you review it and you talk about it, people want to act like you're an asshole if you only like it. Like, oh my gosh, you like it? You're supposed to love it. Dislike. This movie was okay. All right, and that's as far as I'll go. I found some good things in it, and I will go over them. Like Ben, the main character, I think he was the best actor. He wasn't even supposed to be African American. I found that out. And his character was actually supposed to be like a truck driver, but I guess they liked this guy so much they put him the lead. And I'm glad they did. This guy's acting, his character, his decision making, he is the best character. You're rooting for him. He makes great decisions. He's boarding up all the windows. Where the fuck they're getting all this wood, I don't know. But he stands out, and he kind of carries the film a little bit, where I'm like, okay, I at least want to see this guy make it, but everybody else is just horrible. And that's one of the problems I have with the movie. It's just the characters outside of Ben. I just didn't care about them, and that's a problem. I thought that Romero did a good job directing this movie, and I mean, he has some pretty cool shots in here. You can tell that he had some talent at the time. This is his first role, so I can see how, he had a good career ahead of him, because I could see the talent in this movie. The writing, maybe not so much, but the directing, yeah, he's pretty good. This movie's violent for the time, 1968. There wasn't a whole lot of gore at the time, and if you did have gore, it was like blasphemy. Like, oh my gosh, this movie's so horrible because there's blood and limbs. People were pussies back then. Psycho, like, oh my gosh, there's people on a bed, half naked, making out, and they're not married. There's a toilet. It's crazy how far we've come. But yeah, you actually get to see some gore in here for the time. When I say gore, put that in quotes. It's black and white. You can't see like the red blood and tendons and whatnot and brains. You don't get to get that. But two people end up like burning up alive and blowing up in a car, and their limbs are like scattered and they're eating them. You see like bones. That's the gore you get. And the killer kid in this movie, I thought that was brutal, especially, again, for the time being, like 1968. That was pretty brutal back then, and that's what the critics bashed in the 60s, was, oh my gosh, a killer kid, how unheard of. I liked the grim ending. I thought that was pretty cool, because I was expecting it to do the traditional, like, he lived, the zombies are taken care of, roll credits over a sunset and happy music. No. It is dark. But yeah, for the cons, I'm sorry. I just didn't enjoy this movie as much as I wanted to. Anywhere near as much as I wanted to. I was like, hopefully this will be tense all the way, or interesting characters to kind of like fill in the time in between zombie attacks, where I'm entertained. But instead, I was just either kind of bored or annoyed. They're just stuck in a house, and I get it, budget. You can't go many places. they're just stuck in a house listening to the radio or a TV the entire time, the same announcements over and over again. And then you got dipshit Harry just constantly making dumb decision after dumb decision. Diarrhea, the mouth just keeps talking and rattling off stupid shit. Let's go hide in the cellar. It's a death trap. That's a smart idea. No windows, no exits. He's just an idiot. So, like, no rational human being would think of that. Hiding in the cellar where there's no way to escape. He's just a moron. Should have the characters, didn't care for them outside Ben. The score was very loud and rambunctious, continuously just not letting up, even when stuff on screen seemed to be simmering down. It just kept going and going, and it was irritating me. And the main girl, Barbara, in this movie, I didn't think she was that good of an actress. There's a scene where she's like telling a story, and I thought it was almost laughable. Sorry, just telling it how it is. I'm not gonna conceal how I feel about a movie just because it's a classic. And another thing, the zombies aren't scary. Like, even when they're attacking, the choreography of it, the way it looks, it's just corny. Like, I want to laugh at it. I'm not scared by it, but the music's like really loud and it's like intense. But I'm just kind of smiling, like, wow, this is kind of pathetic. Sorry, it's just how I felt. Like, I wanted to laugh. That's why when I watch zombie movies, the ones I do watch, like Zombieland or Shaun of the Dead, I prefer the comedy ones because the whole idea is just ridiculous. And so the fact that this movie is taking it so serious was just kind of laughable because of how the zombies look and how they walk around. I found it kind of odd that some of them ran and then some of them don't. So it's like the movie couldn't make up its mind. Do they run? Do they walk slowly? The guy at the beginning was running, but whatever. So yeah, just the zombie action wasn't all that interesting. It just kind of made me laugh, and I don't think it was supposed to. I don't want to bash on this movie too much. It's not a terrible made movie. It's okay. I'm glad I got to watch it finally. It is a classic. Entertainment Weekly says one of the 20 scariest movies of all time. Horror movies don't really scare me. You can make me feel uncomfortable or unsettled, like, ooh, that would be creepy. But I'm never scared. I'm not getting nightmares. And this sure as hell is not scary. So yeah, I just don't want to go on too long about it because I can already feel the hate that's going to be coming my way for not loving this movie. It's okay, but it's not something I will revisit from time to time. So when it comes to Night of the Living Dead, I would just borrow this one from a friend, stream it, or rent it at Redbox. Alright, now let's get into the movie. So we got this brother, Johnny, and his sister, Barbara. They're at the cemetery. They have to drive like 2-3 hours once a year to go visit their dad's grave. And the brother's being a total jackass the entire time. Just like, praying for church. All right, praying for church. And she's like, you're ignorant.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Stop it. You're ignorant.
And that automatically made me laugh out loud because it took me back to South Park. And it was like, that's Michael Jackson. And that one South Park episode where he's always constantly yelling, you're ignorant. Oh my gosh. So, yeah, and then we see the first zombie, and he's running. Not like a full-on sprint, but he's jogging, at least. And he's attacking her in the car. And zombies in every zombie movie ever made, they don't know how to work a door handle to open up doors. It's not like she locked it. He just doesn't know how to open doors. Johnny, he gets hit on the head. Supposedly, I don't know. Just the way the choreography of it is like he barely like lands on the ground. He like hits his head on the corner of the grave and it knocks him out. He's dead. Oh my gosh. And then she like breaks into this. Well, before that, I thought she made one smart decision in this whole movie, which was using the park brake to let the car slide down the hill to get away from the zombie so then she could get out of the car then. And she breaks into this house with Ben. Ben gets in there and the music gets real loud because she sees a bunch of like taxidermy like animals and deer heads on the wall and like quickly cuts from like all the different animals like it's scary. Was that supposed to be scary? I just thought that was very odd. And then yeah, we see this dead body upstairs. It looks creepy. That's like the creepiest shot of the movie is that dead body, like the teeth and the burnt flesh. the Ben's like, we gotta board up all the windows, and magically there's just wooden frame after wooden frame that he just has stashed away somewhere in this, like, it's not his house, but as soon as they get in there, like a minute later, he has like half of the windows boarded up, and there's just like wood everywhere that he's like getting from underneath like a banister or something, like some cabinet. Like he just pulls a drawer and there's all kinds of wood to get. It's like, where is all this wood coming from? But yeah, then Ben, he goes out, kicks some ass, and it's like he kicks their asses so easily. I'm just wondering, why doesn't he just kick their ass some more? There's not that many. Just keep going. And they're so easy to knock out. Again, it takes away the intimidation factor from these zombies when all he has to do is go out there, lazily tackle them to the ground, and then boink them on the head with like a crowbar or something. We find out that the zombies are afraid of fire. I thought that was very different from every other zombie movie I've seen. That is never said. It's always shoot them in the brain, remove the head, never light them on fire. And then they start telling stories, and apparently this was like ad-libbed. But Ben, it's just funny because it tells you that it's the difference between men and women, that men, we keep our stories short. Women, they like to add extra details, not to be sexist, but whatever, it's true. Comedians talk about it all the time in their routines, about how there's a big difference between men telling stories and women telling stories. Ben tells his story, and it's very well said and like crafted, where it's like, okay, yeah, I went into town, some zombies were attacking a big rig, I stole it, I was gonna help these people, but then they died, and I just was like, fuck this, I'm out. And then Barbara goes to tell her story, and I thought, from the audience standpoint, it's pointless, because we know everything she's about to say. We just saw it not 10 minutes ago. But she's like, yeah, me and my brother, we visit this grave every year. We drive X amount of miles, and then we go to the grave. He's saying this to me, and I felt this way. And then zombie was approaching. He did this. I felt this way again, and then I felt these emotions, and then I said this, and it's like the story just never ends. And you just want to slap her in the face and say, get to the fucking point. Then Ben, he throws a couch onto the lawn and lights it on fire, and then just runs back inside to hide again. That wasn't going to stop the zombies, so I just thought that was a dumb decision on his part. He's making a lot of good decisions, but that one didn't really do shit. Now you just have a big bonfire couch to let everybody in the vicinity know where you are. And he just knocks Barb out cold. Like, he has had it. She's like, we're going out there to find my brother. He could still be alive. He's like, no. Poosh. Knocks her out cold. And I was cheering because her character's kind of annoying. And then these two guys that come from the cellar. We got Harry, the fast-talking moron who thinks hiding in the cellar is the best idea. And then you got Sir Blinks-a-Lot, who is a terrible actor and just keeps blinking constantly, like 10 times per sentence. We see a naked zombie outside. That was cool. We got some nudity in here. And all three of us should work together, the Blinks-a-Lot guy says. All three of you, there's like 5 or 6 of you. Are you saying women aren't as capable as helping out? They can't do the same amount of work? You're a sexist. You think I'm sexist? No. Sir Blinks-a-Lot is sexist because he thinks that the women aren't handy and can't board up windows too. That guy's a sexist. And and then, yeah, there's like a weird cut, like in mid-sentence. Like it's on the two, Harry and like his wife Helen, talking, and there's a weird hard cut, and if you watch it, you should know what I'm talking about. I don't have to explain it too much. And then we find out about how the zombies came about, or the ghouls, as they call them. NASA has some radiation on a ship or something that crashed on Earth, and the radiation is just making people that are dead come back to life. How come the radiation doesn't have an effect on living people? That's a fair question. I have written down here, shut the fuck up, Harry. He was annoying. And then we find out they have a sick child in the basement who was bitten. And they go to get in a truck, and Sir Blinks-a-Lot, he gets the pump. And then before it's even in the truck, he's already having, he squeezes the nozzle and is spraying fire, the gasoline all over the place, and there's a torch right by the truck. Sir Blinks-a-Lot is a fucking moron. Gets truck on fire, drives away with his girlfriend, stops the car, tries to get out before it explodes, but his girlfriend, her jacket got caught in the door. and then they both blow up and they get eaten. Their charcoaled, barbecued remains get eaten by the zombies. And of course, Harry, the racist inside, thinks that this is Ben's fault, so he tries to take his gun away from him, and Ben ain't having none of that shit. Ben beats the shit out of him over and over and over again. Of course, the choreography of it kind of makes you laugh because it looks like he's clearly missing every single punch, and it has that punch sound effect with each hit. The zombie, we get more naked shots of that naked zombie chick. I wish she could have had a bigger role. I wouldn't mind seeing more of her. And then the daughter, she's a zombie now, and she's stabbing her mom to death with a shovel, like a mini gardening shovel, which I felt was very uncharacteristic for a zombie. The other zombies, they just want to tackle you to the ground and eat you. This one's like, I'm going to start using weapons and tools and sharp objects. That's not what zombies would do. But she eats her dad, and Harry, he comes to life as a zombie. They all get taken out by Ben. He's popping one in their faces left and right. And then, ironically, he becomes the guy trapped in the basement. When the whole movie, he was like, going in the cellar, that's a bad idea. And then by the end of it, he's trapped in the cellar until help arrives the next morning. And then for some reason, makes one last fatal, stupid decision. Hears gunfire outside. A whole crowd of rednecks and people who could save him or kill him because they're racist too. Maybe. I don't know. He just points his loaded weapon out at the window, sneaking around, not yelling help or something instead, and just gets shot right in the fucking face by a redneck. And then the movie's over as they drag his body out to a bonfire to be cremated. What a grim ass ending. Probably the best part of the movie. It was just a shock ending of oh wow, they went there? Sweet. So yeah, not much to say here. I was not a huge fan of this. It was okay, but that's it. One good character, some nudity, gory for the time, well shot by George Romero, but that's it. So those are my thoughts on Night of the Living Dead. What did you think about this movie? Let me know how wrong you think I am in the comments below, and I'm sure you will, and you'll explain how I'm ignorant. But fucking I don't care, alright? Thank you so much for joining me tonight. If you like what you've seen here, you can hit this like button and become a Patreon to request movie reviews, and become a subscriber today just by clicking on my cartoon face in about 5 seconds. And until next time, auf Wiedersehen.